we have the trainings going. And as athletes, sometimes we actually forget to ask ourselves that. We just do the work that's been prescribed and just go through the motions of getting the weeks done week by week. But I think it's important to actually reflect on how is your training going. It's not that I do this every week, maybe once per block I do this. But so far in the grand scheme of things, because obviously I haven't done this in the lead up through the winter, I'll just reflect on it as a whole. And I think definitely, yeah, it's my numbers are exactly where I want them to be, higher than I thought they'd even be. I knew it was achievable, but I didn't think it'd be achievable in such a short time frame. And I think that's just by working on areas that I haven't worked on before. Such maybe actually the main thing is rocking up the sessions fresh. Prior to this, I was doing too much. Like the easy stuff wasn't easy enough. I was going out for 5-hour rides when I should have been going out for maybe 4. I know that might sound counterintuitive because I am racing 7.3 distance. Surely long is better. Yes, long is better. As long as you can go without it not impacting your sessions. But unfortunately, 5-hour rides were impacting my sessions. And it wasn't until I got I paid a consultant to look at my training. So I coach people myself, but it's very hard to coach yourself because you'll always have a bias towards a certain type of training that you like. Like the people that come to me to be coached, they'll have that bias themselves. And just because I have a physiology background and coaching qualifications doesn't mean that I'll be able to see the faults in my own training. I'll see it in other people's training. But you need to have an outsider looking in to really see what's going on. And yeah, literally within 3 hours of a discussion, we sat down, we talked through things, and this guy's well known in the sport. He's had some really big achievements, especially at my age, when he was competing my age. So yeah, he was even saying like 5 hours, that extra hour on the bike is just going to tax your legs for the following day. Drop it back to 4, bring your long runs back. You don't need to be doing 2-hour runs. You're only going to be on the run course on a bad day, hopefully for an hour and a half. If the day is going good, hopefully an hour and 15. So yeah, and I really put things in perspective. But one of the key components that I targeted this year was my fat metabolism. So I was quite bad at burning fat, and I knew that I'd bonk if I didn't eat something every 30 minutes, which is a key sign that you're in trouble fat-wise. And the key determinant of success in this distance is your fat metabolism. So that was something I really worked on over the winter, both this year and throughout last year, throughout COVID. That was an excellent opportunity to develop your weaknesses. No pressure races, so yeah, worked well. Also developed the ability to hold the TT position for long periods of time, hold the power in the TT position. But yeah, no, definitely, training's been going well. Very happy with it so far. So I feel like physiologically I'm in peak shape for the bike. My run's thereabouts. Last year for that half marathon that I did in September time, my fitness was really good for that. So yeah, I aim to be in similar shape, if not better, for when races come around. Obviously swim. With COVID, the swim has been neglected. It's probably not the right word. It couldn't be helped. I'm not going to lie, I don't miss the swimming, simply from the fact that I'm not a swimmer. I devoted 3 years of my undergrad degree, alongside my studies obviously, to perfect my swim, and I did get huge improvements. So we did my first swim back last week, and wasn't as bad as those things were going to be, until I actually tried to do a few efforts. So the baseline fitness is there. I could still swim okay in the warm-ups, the cool downs and the steady stuff, but when I actually try to push, there's very little difference between my high end and my low end at the moment. That's just because my high end has just been it's decreased throughout COVID. It hasn't been regularly touched up, so you need really touching your anaerobic stuff and swimming to keep it up there. Same on the run and the bike. So if you haven't been looking after it, it'll come down. But naturally enough, there's only so much fitness you can lose. So my baseline is still okay for the longer stuff. But yeah, for race pace, it's going to be a tight turnaround. We've got about 10 weeks now to my first race. First 70.3 race. We've got about 4 to my first Olympic race of the year. So I'm not going to expect much for the Olympic. We'll do the best we can without rushing. So the main thing with this season is, as with any year, and I did get this wrong before, yes, the swim is very important. You're not going to win the race in swim though. You will lose it, but you'll not win it. So yeah, try not to push the swim to the detriment of my bike and run, which I did in my second last 70.3 I did. I came out of the swim in my best time ever, and because of that, I was in the mix, but about 2-3 minutes into the bike, just couldn't get the power in the legs. So I need to remember in the age group scene, I need to do my race. It's not like the pro scene where there is somewhat of a bike pack, and if you miss it, you've got a lot of work to do. The age group scene is out and out, just a race against the clock. For those of you who don't know what I mean by that is the fact that in the professional races, they do have somewhat of a draft benefit of being in that big long section of athletes all packed together. Yes, they're not drafting completely off each other, but with the drafting rules, you're still getting some kind of benefit. You get towed along, not to mention you've got something to aim for up ahead. There's a reference point, whereas in the age group scene, you don't know who anyone is really, unless you've really done your research, and you shouldn't be doing that. It's you against you. You should be just trying to get around that course as fast as possible. But yeah, I'm looking forward to racing. One thing I didn't mention is the fact that I came off the bike in February, just a silly mistake on my behalf in a training situation. Came around the corner, not quite sure what happened, but I just slid out. Was a bit stiff for a few days, a bit road rash from that. Obviously I'll heal fine, no breaks. Bruised a bit in my hand, which takes a while to heal because of the bony area of it. But the main thing was it's kind of left a mental scar. So going around corners, it's an area I really need to work on, especially on the TT bike, because I came off the road bike. So it's in your head thinking, well, if I go off the road bike, I'm more likely to go off the TT bike now. And it's not the case, it's just these accidents happen, unfortunately, and I need to get over that before it actually limits my performance. There's no point having excellent power numbers, the best average power of the day, and watts per kg. I mean absolutely nothing. What matters is speed, average speed in the course. Whoever's the fastest or the highest average speed on the day, you're going to have the fastest bike split, and that's going to get you out ahead on the run, and it'll give me a chance to use my strength in the run. But yeah, so if I lose time going into a corner just because of lack of confidence, I'm not going to be a happy bunny this year. So from now on forward, I'm going to be doing a lot of technique stuff on the bike in terms of handling and descending and stuff like that. So just building that confidence up so that I don't have as many limiters. Bit noisy. But yeah, so that's something I need to work on. But fitness wise, the hard work's pretty much done. It's just refining that a bit further. I can't see me making any more big gains this season. It's just trying to ride this out now. Extending that time that I'm able to hold that fitness for. So in times of exhaustion, for example. And just working on the top end a bit more. But yeah, definitely probably the biggest bit of advice I can give someone is don't go chasing that 20-minute FTP power. I made that mistake when I was racing draft legal stuff, and it was to the detriment of my cycling. Because when you're chasing the FTP, it's very easy to get caught up in the power to weight ratios. At the end of the day, we're not racing at Form 2, so we need to make sure that our power numbers are there. Don't worry too much about the power to weight. We're not outright cyclists going up the biggest climbs in the world. We need to have the ability to, especially for draft legal, I need to have the ability to almost race like a crit. Again, handling is a big thing, which was a weakness then too. But yeah, definitely when I stopped focusing on trying to have a high FTP, that was when my cycling performance improved, because I didn't base my my easy rides didn't have to be at the high end of zone 2, which is what, if you read all the books and things like that, at the time when I wasn't educated in that area, the books all stated, oh yeah, work at the upper end, you get more bang for your buck working the upper end, harder must be better, and it's just reading the wrong stuff. There's a lot of crap out there on the internet. There's a lot of magazines and stuff like that for cycling that just spurt out a lot of crap, and this is why having a coach pays off, or even educating yourself through the right means. So I'll soon learn that yeah, I can go faster by going slower on my long runs, and that's paid dividends hugely. Yeah, I honestly, I think going longer and going easier has definitely come at the benefit of my FTP. So I think, yeah, it's about 15 watts higher than what it was last year, and probably 12 watts higher than what it's ever been. So I definitely can't complain about that. And I'm slightly heavier, but I feel better for it. I'm doing a lot more gym work. That's something I completely forgot. So I started incorporating more gym work just before COVID hit. We're seeing big gains, and it was translating to less injury, less niggles, especially on the run when you're more prone to it. But I do think the more bike volume you're doing, when you do go to do the same run volume off that, because your mechanics, you're almost slightly fatigued going into the run sessions. The loading off the joints and the ligaments, it's a lot heavier. This is just my own observation now. But I do think you're more prone to getting injured if you're doing more bike. But it's natural enough, you're pulling out of the body, and you're expecting it to do the same run volume off the back of more bike volume. So yeah, naturally, something's going to give. But the strength stuff, so the gym components, that really allowed me to stay strong throughout the season. And I say throughout the season because some of you may know I ended up getting a squat rack and some weight plates, nothing crazy. Weight's not easy to come by, they're like gold dust at the moment. So they're hard to get, but the little bit I am doing is helping a lot. Feeling stronger in the TT position. As I'll do some more videos, I'll explain why strength is so important and why you shouldn't overlook it. Been guilty of that in the past too. If there was a session to go, this was about 2-3 years ago, if there was a session I was going to drop because of I'm tired. It typically was a gym session. I wouldn't drop an hour easy on the bike. Yet I know now that gym session, albeit it may not feel it at the time that it's benefiting my swim, bike and run performance, it's allowing me to rock up to the runs and stay injury free, as well as push more power on the bike, be stronger in the swim. There's more benefit from that hour gym session than there is spinning the legs easy for an hour. So yeah, it's something that I've learned the hard way, but I know not to make that mistake again. So yeah, that's a bit of a recap of how my training's going so far this year. If you've any questions, just drop them in the comment section down below. But yeah, I'm confident about this year. Obviously I'm aware there's areas to work on, such as the handling, but fitness wise I feel like I'm in top shape. Part of the issues with handling, and I'll address this again in another day, is that I do a lot of my riding indoors, which is great, super structured sessions. I don't have to stop for junctions, no worry about people pulling at me. I can just focus on drilling the power in the TT position, and yeah. But it's a different story doing that on the main roads where you've got cars, you've got wind, you've got different undulating terrain, rough roads. You just have to be a lot more aware of stuff, and that's a skill in itself. Not to mention driving power down hills, knowing when to ease off, when to push. These are areas that I'm really going to hammer on in the next few weeks. Enter more of the maintenance phase now. I was just staying fit for the races, and then we'll do a bit of a block after that Olympic distance. Take a few days after the Olympic and then enter a big block of training, and then it'll be full guns blazing to the World Championships in September. But yeah, I'll do more of these, and I'll not leave as big of a gap in between them. So it'll be little and regular. This has probably been quite a big video, but yeah, it might be boring for some of you, but yeah, it's just to document for my own benefit as well, so I can look back on and see, well, what was I doing at that time, what was the headspace like, and what was working. So yeah, hope you found that useful, and a bit of an insight in my training.